the Mittel Rebbe's daughter, she was afraid of raindrops, whatever that means. They gave her a bracha that when you walk and it rains, you should be able to walk between the raindrops. And that's what happened. For the rest of her life, whenever she walked, she later moved to Eretz Yisrael. She didn't get wet. Where she walked, there was didn't rain.
Well, miracle.
Shir HaShirim is sung, read on Pesach because it expresses the relationship between Hashem and the Yidden, the love that God has for the Jewish people and that we have for God in return. And Shir HaShirim is written as a metaphor or a description between a chassan and a kala, groom and a bride, expressing their feelings towards each other. And of course, this is a metaphor for the neshama of a Yid in our relationship to Hashem. So in this Maimer, he's going to discuss the general concept of this metaphor, and at a deeper level, what Kala represents, the bride of Hashem, what does that mean, and different levels in Kala. And we could learn from this how it applies to our feelings towards Hashem, which we have to work on and develop and bring out, etc. Shir HaShirim asher l'shlema ish hakelim v'neshikos piu kitevim dedecha miyoyin. Shlomo Melech begins with this description of the feeling of Hashem to the Jewish, of the Yidden to Hashem. Hinei noida, it's known shakadosh baruch hu nikra chasan. Hashem is called chasan. It's a known idea that Hashem is referred to as the chasan. We are referred to as, we meaning the collective of the Jewish souls, referred to as the kala. So the reason why it's called this way is because of the flow and the giving over of Torah to the Jewish people. So Hashem is the chassan, just like a groom is giving over to the bride. Similarly, the Eibishter is giving over Torah to the Jewish people. As Chazal tell us, the day of his chasana, that is Matan Torah. So Torah is, the day of the giving of the Torah is the wedding between Hashem and us, and it's the relationship between groom and bride. And therefore, the halacha is that you have to rejoice with the chasan and kala. In general, this world is the wedding, it's a mitzvah to bring joy to the chasan and kala. Hamisameach chasan v'kala, so hamosech as a chasan, someone that brings joy to the chasan, zeicha l'teira, shenitina behekeiles. You merit the Torah which was given with 5 sounds. The Perakama de Brachas, in the first chapter of Brachas, he talks about the various sounds that happened when the Torah was given. That is the concept or the idea of the 5 sounds. And someone that rejoices with the chasan or brings joy to a groom, he gets that schus, that reward, that he has 5 koiles. He gets the Torah, his schus of Torah, which was given in 5 koiles. So again, you see this relationship between, or metaphor between Torah and the wedding of Hashem and the Jewish people, Hashem being the chasan, Jewish people being the kala. Ki chasan hu chus darga. Chasan is a lowering of a level. Now in a basic definition of this, it means like this. When a bacher, or a person that's in his pre-marriage life, he has the opportunity to sit and learn Torah all day. He doesn't have responsibilities of a family, a yoke of earning a living, of paying bills. And even if he does, a much smaller degree, and there are options. He's on his own. And if he's in yeshiva, so his room and board are covered, and he can sit without any worries about tomorrow and the next day, and there's no mortgage on his head, no groceries. He just sits and learns all day. Then he gets married, and he has to deal with the world, which is a good thing, but it's a lowering of the level. He was in a very spiritual state, which is very recommended before a person gets married, to spend a certain amount of time fully engrossed in that world of Kedusha, creating that anchor, and from there he goes to the world. But when he goes to the world, it's considered to be a downgrade. He's lowering. It's called chus darga. Once he goes in there, now you have to do it, but it's still, you have to know that the level is less spiritual, so to speak, than it was before. That's the term chasan, chus darga, lowering, chasan, lowering of the level. The hainu, yiridas ramshachas and sebarach lislabesh b'teira, which is the descent and the flow of the infinite light of Hashem to be enclosed in Torah. So we have the same concept that Torah is the light of Hashem. It's the infinite light of Hashem, but it's manifesting in very physical things, right? In a matzah, it's flour and water. It's very, very physical. So just like the chassan goes down a level, similarly Hashem, who's compared to the chassan, goes down a level, meaning he lowers himself or allows the infinite light to be somewhat finite to manifest in a physical object. Knesset Yisrael, who makar neshamas Yisrael, and the collective of the Jewish people, we are the source of neshamas Yisrael. V'chein kol nitzutz v'nitzutz mi Yisrael b'frat b'v'chenas kala, and similarly, every single spark of the Yid, individually, is a level of kala. So, up until this point, we have this shir hashirim, groom and bride, Hashem and the Jewish people, which is the concept of a chasan and kala, which is Hashem and the Jews, and the demotion, the downgrading, so to speak, is the lowering of Hashem's greatness to allow for the manifestation of Hashem's infinite light in mitzvahs. We're the kala. A kala has these two definitions or two explanations of what a kala means. One is milashon kilyon shemechala umevala hakol milashon kala. The first one is consumption or being consumed. He consumes and uses up everything like kala. It means that the kala, the bride, is so taken by this relationship that she's consumed by her chassan. In our connection to Hashem, we're so enveloped in this holiness of being able to attach ourselves to Hashem that the neshama just leaves the body and ceases to exist with its own identity. Now, it's not a positive. It's very holy and spiritual, but we're not looking for that. But it shows on a state of complete attachment to Hashem. Skip the parentheses. Ki milas kala hishem davar ameira ala pu'ula. Milas kala is a shem davar, which shows on an action that has taken place, that exists. Daka, zaka, daka. Nikra kala Hashem shemechala. It's called kala because it consumes. In other words, it's a state of being. She had a great desire, and now the kala is consumed in Hashem. And similarly, the Medrash says, in the same term, sheniskalu, which is telling you that kala, which is the metaphor for the Jewish people, one explanation of kala is, or one state of kala is gone, consumed, attached to Hashem, included in Hashem. The second definition of kala, bride, is also from the word kala, which is kolsa nafshi. My soul is being consumed, it got consumed. It's the state of yearning and strong desire. It's not gone, but the love and the interest in Hashem is so strong that there's a pulling in that direction. So I'm there already, I'm gone, or I'm hoping for, I'm wanting. It's the thirst of the soul to attach and be included in the light of Hashem. But it's not going to do anything. It's going to want to. It's going to do a lot of things to express that desire. But it's not actually going to leave the body and just be included in Hashem himself. So, before we go further, there's kala represents two levels of the state of the neshama. One is that's included in Hashem because it's completely mesmerized, so to speak, by Hashem's greatness. And the other one is a desire to attach to Hashem. The idea is, in Krishma we have two levels of Mesiras Nefesh. One is to give up his life in Echad, meaning a person has a realization of what Shema Yisrael means. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Nothing else matters in this world. There's only one Hashem. Everything else is naught. And he wants to give up his life for Hashem. That's level one. The second one is love Hashem with your whole being, with your whole life, your whole nefesh, even if it takes your nefesh. So, level one of love for Hashem or level 1 of Mesiras Nefesh rather, is echad. It's the last thing a person says, and many have been killed with this word. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Right? Just one. You know the one where the guy is caught with a group of bandits and takes all his money and everything, and he says, please save me, save my life. He says, I can't, you're going to go report me. He says, I promise I won't report you, all I want is my life, let me go home, my family, da. He says, fine, I'm feeling in a good mood today, I'll let you go. Just leave all your money here, I'll let you go. Just thank you so much. Before you go, listen, my wife, she's never going to believe me. Never going to believe me. That I was caught by a group of bandits, whatever. Do me a favor, just take my hat, shoot a few holes in the hat, and she'll see that there's actually, an attack, and someone was shooting at me, and I narrowly survived, lost all my money. She's giving me a very hard time. Just shoot in the thing. Okay, no problem. Shoot. Says, listen. Before I go, no, you don't know my wife. A few holes in the hat's not going to do it. Take my coat. I'll hang it up on the tree. I just shoot a couple, on different places. Okay, fine. And the guy's getting frustrated shooting. And he's like, listen, it's not really enough. I need a few more. And listen, I'm out of bullets. It's like, great. Catches the guy in the morning. But many have died with this word of echad. In other words, their Mesiras Nefesh was echad. That's what it is. Echad represents that nothing else matters, and it's only about Hashem Himself. It's already having Mesiras Nefesh for Hashem. That's what it represents. The second level is v'ahavta. Love Hashem with your whole heart. Now, even if He takes your life, so I'm dedicated and ready that even if Hashem is going to demand, or the situation is going to demand, give up your life, I'm going to do it. I didn't do it, but I'm ready to do it. And these are two levels of Mesiras Nefesh. And our question is, if you had the first level of echad, how do you go from there to afilu neitelas nafshecha? One is echad, nothing else matters, not even the discussion. If He demands your life, I'll give up my life for Hashem. What are you saying? He's gone. The second one, it's like a lower level. You're saying, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The person contemplates on it. He reaches a level, there's nothing else besides Hashem. And he's consumed with Hashem. Nothing else matters. And then you say, listen, you should love Hashem with your whole heart, even if He takes your soul. What do you mean? We're past that stage already. We're ready. I'm ready to give up my life. So the idea is like this. There are two levels of Mesiras Nefesh. One is to give up your life with echad. Even if He takes your life. We have to understand what they represent and the difference between these two levels of echad versus afilu neitelas nafshecha. In addition, we have to understand how is it shaykh for a person to reach this level after he already had Mesiras Nefesh. How do you have after echad? You have b'chol levavcha. B'chol levavcha means with your whole heart. You have to recognize that Hashem is your life. And the more we contemplate on that, the more we develop a love for Hashem. And we feel it. And everything we have comes from Hashem. And He's everything. So it's about your life. But you just said two lines before in davening, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Echad. Life is gone. There's no life here. So how do you have B'chol Levavcha, B'chol Nafshecha, after you have Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad? If anything, it should be the other way around. But to have both together, to have V'ahavta after Echad, there's no room for anything else. But now you're talking about feelings? How much you're loving Hashem? I'm completely gone. I'm in Him. Aval Mesiras Nefesh ula hashla chayav v'neged, shu bitlu Mesiras le'en sefer chamash. V'imkein eich achamaylas medekas bitlu Mesiras Nefesh be'echad yeshayich b'chinas v'ahavta yesh mishayev. How is it possible that after the level and the bittul of Mesiras Nefesh of echad, is it even possible to say v'ahavta that someone is here that loves? Here's another nuance to the question. I love means I exist, I have a choice, some things I like, some things I don't like, And I, in my whole ego, is loving Hashem. Because I love Hashem, I'm putting aside some of the things that I want, and I'm doing it for Him. Because I like the feeling, or I know it's the right thing, but I am the person here, and I matter, and I'm an entity, and I'm going to listen to Hashem. Just like in any other relationship, right? You're not gone for that. You exist, and you're doing what the other person wants. That's called in Chasidus Bittul Hayesh. My Metzias is here, my existence is here, but I'm putting it aside for Hashem. The higher level is Bittul Hayesh, Bittul B'Metzias. I don't even exist. In other words, whatever Hashem wants, it's not I want, but because I love, I decided, I'll do it. What do you mean? You do, because He said, it's not even a question. So He's saying that over here, this is the difference between Echad and B'chol Vavcha B'chol Nafshecha. Echad is Bittul B'Metzias. They don't exist here. The Ahavta is Bittul Hayesh, which is more of a practical, so to speak, level for a person to achieve. I'm here, but I'm going to put my yesh, my ego aside for what Hashem wants. So the idea is like this. The first level, the first level of giving up your life for Echad is because of Shema Yisrael. Shema miloshen havana. Shema is from a term of understanding. Shema means to hear, but there's hearing and there's listening and there's perceiving. So Shema is not just like, hey, listen to what I have to say. It's really listen and internalize it. When you internalize something, that's through reflecting on it, thinking about it, davening with it, then it becomes part of you and it actually impacts your feelings. So Shema Yisrael, Shema is Lashon Havana, understanding. It's the process of contemplation, reflecting, meditation on the greatness of Hashem. The way Hashem is one, just like He was before He created the world, without any change. That's what Shema means. I'm thinking, reflecting about the fact that Hashem, despite everything He created in this world, which to me is everything, He's unchanged by it. He's essence, He's Hashem, this thing is unfazed by it. As it says, I'm Hashem, I didn't change. You are the Eibishter before you created the world, and you're the same Eibishter after you created the world. We say this in brachas, in Karbanos every day. I'm the first, I'm the last. And without me, or outside of me, there is no Eibishter. Now, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad is the process or the culmination of contemplating how Hashem is everything, and there's nothing else besides Hashem. Now we know that there is something called a level of Elikim, which produces nature, or allows for nature. Now, normally, the typical shame of Hashem, the name of Hashem, which is the flow of energy into this world, is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Right? It's Hashem. Elikim represents a level where Hashem screened, meaning He blocked, an intensity of this flow of energy to allow for creation. Because if you have Hashem here in full glory, you're not going to have any physical thing which even seems to be its own entity. This table looks like it's on its own. No one's holding it, seemingly. Obviously, Hashem is creating it constantly. But if you just look at it the way the world works, you don't see Hashem. You have to look deeper. It's not possible in a normal state. With Havaya, with Yud Kei Vav Kei, Hashem creates the world. It's godliness. You see it. You can't hide godliness. You're blocking it. However, using the name Elikim, you block. Hashem blocks, so to speak, the intensity, the infinite aspect of it, and allows for creation, which by definition means certain things are hidden, certain things you don't see the full amount. It allows for limits, parameters. That's all with Elikim. So in one line, it's a blocking of Hashem. Now, this block, normally we refer to a block and we say this is something outside of you and it's blocking you from going. Like you want to go somewhere and this thing blocks you can't go anymore. But by Hashem, the block is from within Him. he is his own block. And that's what he's saying here. That Pirush Elikim, from without me or other than me, there is no Elikim, meaning the Elikim that's functioning, that level, is part of me. I'm deciding to block a certain part of myself. Which goes back to the interesting concept that there infinite means that you could be finite. Hashem is unlimited. Could he limit himself? Yes. Because if he can't limit himself, then he'd be limited to not being limited. Sorry, all I am is infinite. I can't limit myself. And that doesn't work. So Hashem, normally infinity can't be finite. But Hashem could be both. He could allow himself, so that's what Elikim means. I'm blocking myself from within myself. I'm bringing out this aspect. What's the point of all this? Spiritual Elikim, the level of Elikim which covers and conceals. Because in front of Hashem, there's nothing that conceals and hides. Because everything is in front of Hashem like nothing. Nothing matters. And if that's the case, don't profane my holy name. There's a pasuk that says in Parshas Emer, don't profane my name. Now, profane means literally to desecrate. But the word profane in Hebrew means cholol, which means hollow. Don't create a space that's hollow of Hashem. Don't think that there's a certain part of my life, I'm going to daven and learn, and now this next hour is my time. Hashem is not part of that. I still have to do the way Hashem wants. And which means, if I live my life in that manner, which comes after contemplating on Shema Yisrael, Hashem is everything, and there is no way to, so to speak, escape Him. There's no place that it's not Him. Even the blocking is from within Himself, that He created, that He doesn't change, that automatically puts aside all my taivas and all my yeshus, my ego and my desires and everything, and says, they don't matter. So you have a person, he's a yesh, his metzias is here, he's reflecting on the greatness of Hashem, to the extent that he realizes that his whole life is thanks to Hashem. Now he has the v'ahavta, he's loving Hashem. And as he gets to that intensity, so to speak, he now realizes that I have to put myself aside for what Hashem wants. Myself aside means all the things that I want. Now, it's a very high level, but it's not bittul b'mitzias. I'm here. That's b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meidecha. I'm saying, even if Hashem wants my life, I'll give Him my life. But I will choose to give Him mine. So I'm here. I exist. I have feelings. I have a choice, which we all have choices, obviously. But it's not united with Hashem to the level where I don't even exist. Imagine, like it says, the avos are a merkava. They were a chariot, a wagon to Hashem. Your car doesn't debate if it should turn this way or that way. The wagon follows the horse. It says wherever it goes. A person could say, I don't want to, fine, I'll do it for you. If you say so, I'll listen to you. That means, or sure, no problem, right? I'm deciding to go with you. So I'm my own person, and I'm thinking and I'm deciding, which most of us don't reach a level of bittul mitzias. We cease to exist, right? A bittul hayesh, where my ego is not here, that does exist. It's not about me, it's about Hashem. And you get to that through that process. That's what it means, consumed. It consumes to himself. All of his desires become batal. That's the key here. Not he himself doesn't become batal. His desires become batal. And all he wants is what Hashem wants. Okay. והבייז, ויבחין על הבייז, ולשם כל סנף שיש לשם תשוקה בעבר, שבחינס ביטל היש, שיש בדבר, אלא שמבטל את עצמו שיש לכל לבטל. I jumped the gun a little bit. The first level is that the desires are gone. That's what it means, bittul mitzias. It's not that I have the desire and I'm pushing it away. The desire is gone because I'm echad. Nothing. There is no other desire besides Hashem. There's no don't make any hollow place. There is no option to want something else. That's the first level. That's echad. The second level of hafta is I still have these desires, but I'm not going to act on them. I'm putting them aside. That's bittul. That's bittul hayesh. The first level is bittul b'mitzias, which is a state of I don't have desires anymore. It's not about me. I'm gone. It's about Hashem. The second level is I have the desires because Hashem says no. I'm going to listen to you. So level one is echad. Hashem, I'm yours, and whatever you say. And the second one is, well, I'm not really in the mood, but you're in charge. So I'm going to do what you want. These are the two levels of echad and b'chol vavcha v'chol nafshecha. And the question is, how do you have both together? If you have echad, there's no desires. How do you have b'chol vavcha? Listen, put your desires aside. What's desires? They deleted them. Hashem is here, and my existence doesn't matter. That's why he says between Shema, the first line, and V'ahavta, we have this one line, Baruch Shem Yikveh Mechosei Le'olam Vad. It's also a unity of Hashem, and Hashem is everything, but it's a unity of Hashem in a state where there is a world. So Hashem created a world, which is nothing, it's not its own entity, and this world is designed to look like it's independent, to allow for the opportunity for Hashem to be king, and we serve him. You can't be a king unless you have subjects. And if these subjects are an extension of you, then they're not your subjects. They're part of you, whatever. King-subject relationship, we don't have the opportunity to understand it today because we don't have kings. But it's a conscious decision by the nation to accept this human being as their king. If they revolt, if they say no, he's not their king anymore. And every year they have to crown him. Which implies that we are deciding to accept this king upon us. Now, once we accept it, there's no way out, right? But we're accepting him by our desires. In Hashem and us, what do you mean? You decided, you didn't want to, you wanted to. Hashem created you. So he specifically designed the world with this free choice. People could or could not. I don't want to say it's a game, but it's a creation that allows for the perception that people are independent. That's expressed by Baruch Shem. Well,
Elections in Russia.
Only in Russia?
Not only that. Russia is prime example.
But that's the idea, that a person is when he says Baruch Shem, now you're talking about a different category. You're talking about the world that we live in, which is created in a way that seems to be separate entities. It's still Olam Vad, right? Baruch Shem, and Hashem is everything, and it's united, but it's called Yichudat Hatah. It's a lower level of unity. It's angels, and that's the term they use. That's why we say it quietly, because it's really a line that belongs to the Malachim. Then you go to the other level, which is V'ahavta. So Shema is the level of unity, which is, I don't even have desires. It's bittul b'mitzias. And then there's a break in between, which is Baruch Shem, which is expressing how Hashem created a world where there are separate entities, seemingly, and they decide to connect with Hashem. And then I go to the V'ahavta, which is, so to speak, the typical state of most people, where we have an ego, and we're being mevata that yesh for Hashem. And I say,
Baruch Shem is not a malach. It's to Hashem.
Yeah, you're right. It's the way the Malachim describe the unity of Hashem. It's their level.
Oh, that's on Yom Kippur we say aloud.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my question.
Answer's the same, right? Okay. Now he brings the example. Well, what time is it?
Have 2 minutes.
He brings the example that like a turtle. That on the one hand there's a shell to this turtle, it's a cover, but but it's not an outside cover. It's part of the actual animal. Similarly, when Hashem has the level of Elikim functioning, creating this screen as if you don't see Hashem, it looks like everyone's on their own. And a person can also feel that way within himself. Whatever, yeah, I want to do what he says of it. Sometimes, hopefully all the time. But it's not outside of Hashem, it's Hashem himself. Even the concealment of Hashem is Hashem. Thank you for joining. Join us again soon. Like, share, subscribe. Tell us where you're watching. Zag is stark.